Running while female is a gift. It is no easy feat. Every day, we awaken with a boldness in our soul that burns only through hitting the pavement and by continuously putting one foot in front of the other. We face obstacles and then we overcome them. We get beaten down and then we get back up. I wanted to highlight the stories of 3 women who are the definition of high achievers, fueled by determination to run freely and confidently. Allie embodies a hard-working student athlete in college. Akiko represents all recreational runners who have retired from competition. And Cheryl leads her community by working as a counselor and by uplifting young girls passionate about being fit through Girls on the Run.
How would I describe the impact that running has had on my life?
I got into running when I was like 12, I think, or 11.
I was about 10 years old when I first started running, and that was when I first joined my club soccer team. And we needed to run every day, like a mile before practice.
I would say, first of all, I need to start back to when I first started running. Before that, I hated running.
It's become so natural to me to just like go for a run.
When I was about 23 or 24 years old, I discovered that I actually liked running.
Of course, like over the years, my dedication, I would say, has definitely grown, because when I first started running track, it was really something that I just did for fun.
Afterwards, like, I would feel so much better. And then like, that just makes my day better.
When I wasn't training for a race, it's so easy to just throw your running shoes on and just get out and move. And I don't have to be training for a race. In fact, I prefer to not be training for a race and just get moving.
When you're younger, I feel like there's not as much comparison because everybody's just doing a sport. Nobody's really trying to focus on it or see it as a career or something they're going to do in college. And I just think like I started realizing as I got older that just like it's much more difficult being a female, and it's just something that like you have to show other people that like you deserve to be there as much as anybody else.
You know, when I think about running, I just get a big smile on my face because it was my happy place.
In order to get into the mindset of a high-level collegiate athlete, I reached out to Ewell. Allie is a mid-distance runner on the track and field team at the College of New Jersey, one of the highest-ranking Division III universities in the nation. As a first year in college in 2019, Allie placed 7th in the NCAA Women's Outdoor Track and Field Championships and became an All-American in the 800 meters. Now a junior, she hopes to continue high-caliber racing after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you so much for coming to sit down and talk to me about running, our favorite thing.
Thank you for having me. Being a female athlete, I think across the board, whether it's in track or any other sport, is just difficult because you're always compared to men. In some way or another, they're just like, well, men are faster, men are stronger, like this and that. And there's just part of you that just wants to be like, well, I can do this too. And I can run fast and I can be strong and things like that.
So as a student athlete, do you think it's challenging to balance that particular lifestyle because you are not only, going to practice every single day, but you're also going to classes and trying to have a high GPA. So how do you balance that lifestyle and how do you overcome any obstacles that you have?
So for me, balancing the lifestyle, especially when I got to college, it was a lot. It definitely wasn't easy because college itself is a huge adjustment for everyone, but it was something that I've always kind of been used to. I've been an athlete in so many different sports for my entire life, so I always had a designated time in my day that was for practice, whether I was in kindergarten or whether I was a senior in high school. There was always a time where I was going to play soccer or going to the track. So I was kind of used to just having that gap of time. And that gap of time, like almost, I felt better after I went to practice in whatever way it was, because I had that time to be with my friends and do something I enjoyed. So it helped me when I got back to my dorm or got back home. I was able to sit down and be like, okay, I could do my homework and do things like that.
So we're going to be changing gears and discussing what it was like running at NCAA Nationals. That I'm sure was a total out-of-body experience, but do you think you'd be able to describe it in any way for us?
Yeah. I don't talk about it often because I'm not someone who likes to like brag about myself. So I never bring it up. No, it was definitely like one of the most honorable experiences that I've had as a college athlete so far, because you're in a position and in a place where like it's the best of everybody in the country. And it felt like, especially that I was a freshman, I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't belong. I almost felt like it was a mistake. My coach reassured me, and I was able to reassure myself, like I earned my spot, like I ran like the time that I needed to run, and I like deserved to be there as much as everybody else that was there. When I was there, it was, of course, like it was amazing, like hope like that I was able to place and like that I qualified for finals. But my main goal going in there was just to run like as best as I could, and I wasn't gonna focus really on place or anything like that until I got like farther along. I was just happy that I was there, and I like almost didn't know what to do with myself. I was supposed to compete at NCAA nationals in the winter, and that got canceled because of COVID. But just being there and just seeing everybody react the same way, like you just find that it's this whole community of people who all have the same goal, and it's not even just a place, it's just you've reached this goal of getting to the highest level of competition that you can get to. And I think you obviously want to do well, but no matter the result, people are just so happy that they even made it there. I think for my future aspirations as a female athlete at TCNJ, one of the things that I really just want to focus on is just making sure that I'm the best athlete that I can be for the rest of my time in college. It goes by so quickly, and I thought I had a grasp on that when I was a freshman. I was like, I saw how quickly high school went by, like when I was a senior. Like you don't realize that as the time is passing, but especially with COVID and everything, it's really just obviously clearly upsetting for a lot of people, but it just showed me like my time is even shorter. I just want to be able to embrace the time that I have left and make sure, whether I'm a female or whether I'm just an athlete, that I'm able to focus on just being like the best athlete I can be and just enjoying doing what I'm doing. I don't want to have any regrets once I leave college. So even if it's not as much as I would love to go, I have many goals to go to nationals and like goals that like I want to hit certain PRs in the 800 and the 400. I just want to make sure I'm happy with like how I performed, and that like even if I don't reach all my goals, I still knew I did everything that I could to get to the places that I want to be. And I don't think I would be upset if I could leave college like knowing that.
I sat down with Akiko Matsumura, a former competitive runner from northern New Jersey. Akiko raced all throughout high school, but took a step back once she graduated and then attended Siena College in upstate New York. Now living in Mississippi, Akiko runs recreationally in her community.
Describe how being a female athlete means to you personally, and how do you think you've benefited from the lifestyle that being a runner entails?
I think it's nice to be part of like a community of female runners, just from like recreational to like pro level, just people who run.
So not long after you graduated high school, you guys moved to Mississippi. So how did everything change for you moving to a completely different state, honestly a different time zone? And then did you get to know the area through running in any way? Like how has running impacted your move to a new state?
It kind of brought me a sense of like comfort and familiarity. Even though I was in like a completely different state, like I could still go out and run, even though it's really humid. But yeah, I can still go out and run and like have that with me, even though like everything else was different. And when we moved into like the house that I'm in now, like I used running more, and like I learned, like now I have like different routes I run depending on how many miles I want to run that day. But like that whole like transition was really hard because I kind of lost like the team that I had in high school. I had to find friends that didn't know about running.
Do you prefer training as part of a team with a big group of people, or do you prefer training individually, or do you not really have any preference at all as a recreational runner?
I miss running with people, but it's also nice running alone.
There's a good balance between the two, I think, that you have to be able to find.
I think running in New Jersey was so focused on competitive running. I like running alone, but like I also miss the long runs with people where you literally talk about anything and everything just to like get through the miles. But like I miss like being part of a team, even though like I still run on my own, like it's different. But I also like running in Mississippi because it's always warm. Like you don't have to bundle up and like be like a marshmallow to go outside in the winter.
Yeah, I am jealous of you in that sense. You wear shorts more than I get to wear in Pennsylvania. So in the same vein, do you have any plans in the future to kind of start going back into community 5Ks or anything like that? Or are you just strictly running for your enjoyment? You don't need to do any races. So what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like I would, I don't know, stick with recreational running, and then if I ever get curious about, I wonder how fast I can run a 5K, I'd probably just enter a race just to see.
My next guest is a trauma counselor from Pennsylvania named Cheryl Stropf. Cheryl is extremely active in her community when it comes to providing professional mental health guidance, especially for students at Susquehanna University. Additionally, Cheryl works closely with the Girls on the Run organization, dedicated to enhancing the lifestyles of young girls. Thank you so much for coming to sit down with me and talk about running and Girls on the Run and just your experiences throughout your time as a coach and also just as a supervisor when it comes to Girls on the Run. As a counselor, you often work with students who are going through challenging times or are struggling with their mental health. So how can running impact students' livelihoods?
Running is a wonderful form of exercise that has the cardio benefits as well as the mental health benefits. Certainly, we know research shows that you are kicking the endorphins up and getting the brain chemistry to reset. The breathing is resetting. You're strengthening your physical body, but you're also strengthening your mind. And the other thing that I want to say about running is you don't have to be a marathon runner or somebody who's been a lifelong runner. People are often afraid of what they're going to look like. It doesn't matter. You're just moving, and just that moving aspect of the running, and you can walk, that can be very healthy for that brain to reset.
In what ways do the negatives of running, such as such an extreme focus on weight, injury, fear of running alone, especially for women, or catcalling, how can that impact women in particular?
Well, I've been victim to people behaving badly when I'm out on the road running. And so it has created this sense of hypervigilance sometimes, but over the years I've gotten more confident with how I handle it. And I've carried pepper spray, and I've taken some self-defense. So societally, I think it's important to raise awareness about what happens, but I think people are going to always do stupid things.
How do you think women can overcome these challenges? What kind of work can we do other than self-defense courses? What can we do internally for ourselves to help us get through those situations?
Yeah. I think surrounding yourself with other people who are going to lift you up, especially other women, creating a sense of community is really important for empowering yourself. So Girls on the Run is a national program, and our mission is to inspire girls to be joyful, healthy, and confident using a fun, experience-based curriculum that creatively integrates running, but it's not all about running. We use fun running games, and there's some writing and drawing involved, and the program is designed to catch the girls as they're coming into that phase of life between 8 and 14, where their identity is really starting to develop and solidify. And so we are challenging them to define who they are individually, think about how they're making connections with their peers, and consider how they're connecting to their communities.
We are strong, dependable, goal-oriented, ambitious, hardworking, and enthusiastic. We are women, but most importantly, we are runners.